So the Kansas City Chiefs have defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers, kind of what we all thought would happen, but still, a fun game. I thought, even though it was kind of a blowout, it was at least interesting for a quarter, and quite frankly, I know a lot of people are getting tired of the Patrick Mahomes stuff. I'm not. I find it just as exciting as I found it the first season it happened. Really fun stuff by the Chiefs offense. Let's talk about kind of the struggles early on, and then how they broke out of it and had such a great ending to this game. So right off the bat, let's talk about the slow start. And listen, hey, maybe for Kansas City, it's reasons for optimism having slow starts early on in playoff games. Obviously, they won a Super Bowl doing that in 3 straight playoff games. Slow start in this one. First, let's talk about the schematics of what went wrong, because there was some fluky plays. We'll get into that in a second. But something like this, it's going to be a zone coverage play. And it felt like they tried to go for a more methodical approach, which I think for Kansas City, that's just not their game. Get the chunk plays. If teams are playing cover 2, then you kind of have no choice. But against a cover 3, I don't think you have to do this stuff. I think you still can get the ball down the field. But regardless, this is what they want to do. And you can still do it. It can still work. However, as you see when Mahomes makes this throw, it just doesn't really get open and ends up falling incomplete. That's the kind of stuff that last time they played Pittsburgh, it was just working easily, and then early on in this game, it wasn't working as well. So that was a small thing, but the other part was just some fluky plays. For example, something like this, I would consider this just straight up one of those plays where it just doesn't go as planned, I guess. It's kind of a not a typical football play. Watch, Mahomes is going to run a play action, and he looks back, and I think he just doesn't see TJ Watt here, who, is obviously a defensive lineman. I think Mahomes just never saw him, because he's going to kind of throw it right at him. Watch, he throws it, Watt gets his hands up, good job by him, and then, gets batted up and gets intercepted there. So, good play by Pittsburgh for sure, but kind of one of those, unfortunate errors that happened with Kansas City beating themselves as they did early on this season at times. This one's another one where it's not even Mahomes, because what they're doing here is this is a Wildcat play, and as you see, I'm pausing it right here, and there's a reason why I'm pausing it right here, because I want to talk about this play. Because on one hand, I think it's very easy to say, listen, what did TJ Watt really do on this play? He scooped up the ball that went right towards him. Okay, so what? But I wanted to give TJ Watt some love here, and this is kind of one of those things where, it's part of the reason why he's the best, in my opinion, the best edge rusher in football. It's not just the fact that he does the obvious stuff, getting those immediate pressures, but the little things where he could have easily just kind of said, I'm kind of boxed out, whatever, but watch this hustle. He steps in front of Hardman before he even sees the ball come out, so when it does come out, he's able to pick it up, also kind of breaks a tackle there, and gets into the end zone for a touchdown. So again, fluky stuff going against Kansas City, and these are kind of what you needed to have happen if you're Pittsburgh, but that's kind of a lot of what went wrong, and you got to give Pittsburgh credit for making it happen, but these are the kind of plays that I always feel like, okay, if you were to play 100 drives instead of just the typical 11 you get in the game, how many times would this happen? Probably not that frequently. And I would also think that both teams would end up kind of with the same amount of these types of plays that go against them. And so that's kind of why I tend to not throw it out, but I pay less attention to that. I pay more attention to what happens when just on-script football plays are happening. Are you converting? Are you not? And really, from that point on, they were converting. Something like this is a great example where what's going to happen is that it's zone coverage, and you have just a simple zone buster against this cover 3, and this is what was working the last time these two teams played. These types of plays were just working immediately. Watch how when Mahomes takes a snap, you're going to run a play action, and as you see, it's good route by Hill. I mean, you see he's just completely wide open right there. This is good schematic stuff, and this is where Pittsburgh has struggled all year, is this coverage, and this game is kind of a great example of showing why pass rush isn't going to get you all the way there. The pass rush made some big plays. I also thought the offensive line at times played really well as well. It's kind of both. But the reality is that you need the coverage as well, because plays, you're not going to get pressure every single play. You're going to have to cover at times. And Tyreek Hill getting wide open here. Makes the catch, and also, I mean, he's just impossible to take down after he makes the catch as well, so that makes things even more difficult. But something like that does kind of start to open things up, start to allow Mahomes to, be able to work a little bit better. And also, I got to talk about this play. I mean, this play was just absurd. I mean, this is one of those, okay, Kansas City's winning this football game, right? I mean, that's how it felt right when we saw this play, even though it's just halftime. Kansas City's up 7, 22 seconds left. It's a 3rd down and 20. So listen, these numbers for Pittsburgh are atrocious at the half. I mean, the halftime numbers, Kansas City has over 250 yards of offense at the half. But at the same time, you get a stop here on 3rd and 20, and it's a one-score game heading into the half. You feel pretty good about that. The way this play is going to work is it's a cover 2 zone, and the one receiver who's lined up to the offense's right is running a deep route, and so the safety's actually going to take that away, meaning that when Kelce kind of runs all the way over from the offense's left to the right, so from the top of the screen to the bottom, this now means that there should be a gap there where there's no safety, and while a Pittsburgh player could pick it up and try to cover him, that's how this could work. Obviously, it's going to take a long time to develop, and the flip side as well is Pittsburgh is trying to keep everything in front of them. It's 3rd and 20. Just don't give up a big play. However, watch how when Mahomes takes the snap, you see that he's able to, good protection by the offensive line. He steps up, makes an off-balance throw. That's another crazy thing about Mahomes is the way he can make these we all know it, but it's still, I think it's crazy, is the ability for him to just so seamlessly make these throws while on the move with just like pinpoint accuracy. But Kelce makes the grab. He was wide open, but it's still like a great play by Mahomes, and he made a couple of these throughout the course of the game. Just incredible stuff from Patrick Mahomes. I mean, quite frankly, it's pretty funny, in my opinion, that there was a legitimate narrative that Patrick Mahomes was never actually that good and just gets lucky. That was a legitimate narrative. Okay, you guys keep thinking that as he's going to keep winning playoff games. And something like this was, it was just absurd, and kind of just goes to show. I mean, Tyreek Hill is probably still the best wide receiver in football. He's just so good. And part of what, he has is, yes, he's an amazing route runner, but he's just faster than everybody, and that sets stuff up. This is zone coverage. It's a cover 3 zone, but the corner's kind of playing pretty close, and quite frankly, you can't do that unless you have safety help, because Tyreek Hill will just blow by you. I mean, it's just crazy how when you are playing a game with the fastest people on the planet, he's still just that much faster than everybody. It's truly absurd. And watch what ends up happening. So Mahomes takes a snap. He looks to his left, but then throws to his right. I kind of wonder if he, was always going to be throwing that way and just kind of looked off, keeping Minkah Fitzpatrick, the safety, just frozen for a second, because you see how open Tyreek Hill is here. Again, this is not man, but so that might have played a factor as Sutton took him a second to see what the route was and then get over. So he would have played it maybe a little different if it was man. But regardless, speed comes into play. And if you're a half second slow, you're going to be 5 yards off, and no one gets open like Tyreek Hill gets open. Mahomes makes an incredible throw. Fitzpatrick had no chance of getting there. You can't get there that quickly. Again, even Fitzpatrick, who's obviously a really good safety who can make good breaks on the ball, Hill can get there faster. It really is one of those things. It's not fair that Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill are able to play with each other. Like that shouldn't have been allowed. How do we let these two guys get to play on the same team? Although it's a lot of fun to watch, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, just an incredible game by Kansas City. Sure, it was against Pittsburgh, I get it, all that stuff, but they still played really well, and quite frankly, great wins from both Kansas City and Buffalo this weekend. They will now play each other, which should be just an absolute blast. Both of those teams could end up winning a Super Bowl. That should be a very fun game. But yeah, that's what I thought of this game. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.